And I'm live with a couple of highly observant sensing types as we talk about Voice from the Past.
Yo. Yeah, it shouldn't have been called Voice from the Past. It should have been called Annoying Noises.
Yeah.
And yelling.
Yeah.
There was some yelling involved.
Right. I tell you, that maximum power book makes some good points. And,
Or do you want to just or do you want to read the legit summary of it?
Yeah, I want to read the legit summary and stuff, but
Okay.
thanks for reminding me about that. There is, like I said, in the 1990s, no, not the 1990s, but whenever I read the Doctor Who guides, improving observational skills. Right. Voice from the Past. I'll just wet my whistle.
Hey, that's a little personal.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Hopefully I don't get too tongue-tied. The Liberator is on its way to Del 10, where the crew plan to take a rest from their search for Star 1. When Blake, under the influence of a telepathic message, suddenly changes course for an isolated asteroid, PK-118. When the crew try to abort the telepathic link, Blake imprisons them and teleports to the asteroid's surface, where he meets the legendary and now heavily bandaged guerrilla leader Shivan and a defected Arbiter General of the Federation, Ben Glind, played by a different actor than in the first episode, the way back. So if you thought, I don't recognise him, you're right. They inform Blake of a plan to denounce the Federation at a summit meeting on Atlay, with the help of Governor Legrand, who has been working against the Federation for some time while staying in office. The plan is to set up a revolutionary council, a triumvirate even, of Legrand, Blake, and Shivan. Despite the objections of the rest of the crew, the Liberator travels with Shivan and Legrand to the summit, whilst Avon and Callie work hard to locate and destroy the trigger mechanism which drew Blake to the asteroid and which is still active, so the transmitter. Upon reaching the Atlay summit, Legrand, Blake, Vella, and Jenna teleport down to the conference center, whilst Avon and Callie remain on board with Shivan and the transmitting device. Shivan then reveals himself to be Travis in disguise, whilst on Atlay, guards positioned by Servalan are waiting for Legrand and Blake. Legrand and Glind are killed. Avon eventually destroys the trigger mechanism, releasing Blake from his telepathic trance. Travis is left on the surface of the planet. Surface of the planet? It's asteroid, isn't it? Oh no, it got moved to Atlay, that's right. Travis is left on the surface of the planet and the crew escape. Now, the maximum power version of the story is probably a bit wittier. Let's have a look. I'll just look at that bit for now. Their version of the story. And it will help if I share the screen. It's worse than usual, and he changes the well, people can read this themselves.
I can't, it's too far away.
Okay. Blake's behaviour is worse than usual, and he changes the Liberator's course without consulting the rest of the crew. They react badly and attempt to restrain him, but Blake tricks Vella into letting him teleport down to asteroid PK-118. There he meets the man responsible for putting him on trial, Ben Glind, who introduces Blake to a giant bandaged-wrapped lunatic with a shambolic accent and a neat line in howls of pain and groaning.
A what accent?
A shambolic accent. Blake, my brother.
What's that mean?
It means that Brian Croucher, as he had to really disguise his voice as Shivan. So what were your thoughts on the episode, Jeff?
Well, you still haven't answered my question.
Yep. What was the question? It was about Travis's voice?
Yeah, I didn't understand the word you said or what it means.
Shambolic.
Yeah.
It means poor. A shambles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that pretty much could be describe the whole episode.
Ooh.
So I have to say that one thing I'm trying to find the positive. This episode did demonstrate that Gareth Roberts is a pretty good actor, because the test of that is when you have to act out of your usual character in some way. And in the scenes where he was convincing Villa to help him, you could see a definite change in him that, as far as the plot is stupid, because it's Villa, at this point, he's been established to be a coward and kind of ineffective in some things, but he's not like, I don't think he would have gotten to where he was by being that gullible. So it's like they just flat out are like, he's just worthless. But in that scene, it showed the actor could change his delivery in a way that, it was like, well, okay, he's showing me something here. But man, almost everything else was just horrible.
Wow.
I fell asleep. Started to fall asleep several times because it was mostly boring, but the parts that weren't boring were annoying. Like people yelling and making weird, loud noises and mummy talk and what, like you said, the shambolic accent or whatever. The stupid guy looks like the dude from Zoolander. And you told me there wasn't an actor. I was like, that makes it even lamer, because what I hate more than anything is when shows bring back a character that there's no real reason to bring the character back, and they can't even get the actor to put it before. Like, what's the point? Just have a different guy. I mean, hey, it's this guy from before, except it's not him. Deal with it. I can sort of understand with Travis why, and I imagine they had already written those things for him, but still. I still think they should have replaced him with a different character, but you definitely could have replaced the guy that nobody remembers from the first episode with a different character. And then you had another Supreme Commander smirk off with another weirdo.
That was awful.
This one, I mean, the guy in the previous episode was a better actor. So I just say overall, their conversations were still more annoying than this one. I think this one was mercifully shorter. But that woman was just like, I'm just sitting there like, man, why waste the 3 hours to put that much makeup on her for her to just be the latest idiot to be sacrificed? I mean, at least they all got slaughtered at the end. That was good.
That was good.
The only good thing, the only bad part about that is that, Travis's last scene was just the guys busting in and him being like, "What's up?" What was that even in there for? They just came in to find Travis for him to be like, "Yo, dudes, how's it hanging?"
Maybe the director was like, I don't think she was the greatest actress in the world who played the governor, but maybe the director cast her because maybe like 10 or 15 years before she was really pretty. I don't know.
I mean, I guess you didn't really need a great actor for that part because she didn't really have that many lines, but it was just sort of like warble, and then I guess she was pretty good at activating her lone tear down her face when she.
Yeah, that bit was good. What about Jenna's outfit?
I'm pretty sure she's worn that one before.
Oh yes, they regularly
reuse.
use.
For the action scene, she changed back into the blue thing, so that was a bit of a letdown. I like Blake in his jogging suit. That was pretty good.
Okay.
Not Blake, Avon. Yeah, Avon. Sorry, I got them mixed up because they're all boring white people.
This looks like camouflage inside the Liberator. So what did you think of it, Morgan?
Yeah, it was boring and convoluted. But eventually they did shoot a lot of the people that I said to shoot from the beginning, so that was cool.
It's like every time they try to establish this crew of people as having brains, then they have an episode where they all lose their brains.
Well, Avon's keeps questioning everything.
He was just, I mean, he did what Blake said. He did trust him. He didn't really have a reason to. So he better not in the next episode after that crap.
Again, what I said when he was actually doing it, like, even when he went to, like, go to the asteroid to go pick him up, like, normally he would say something about how it's stupid to go do that, and then he just did it without question there. And then he just, like, totally suckered into freaking dude's explanation of why you should hand over his teleporting thing to the random guy and bring him on the ship. And then they, of course, brought Travis on the ship.
The way this should have ended is Avon should have been, all right, restrain him again. And I'm in charge now.
And even when they brought Travis on board, doesn't make any sense at all, because he should have just shot all of them. Like, once he's on board, like, you should, like, if you're gonna do this convoluted thing anyway, to where you get Travis on the ship, and once you have Travis on the ship, have him have some, like, explosives or something, just boom,
and
take
why
everyone
did he
out.
knife the bearded guy? What was that
Yeah,
about?
that was random, too. Like,
it was Professor Plum with the knife in the conservatory.
they just wanted to kill someone else off for no reason.
You have a dramatic death scene as he fell to the ground.
That's the thing is, like, I don't even know. They, like, kill some people off. I don't know, maybe to build up some tension or something, to, like, I don't know, something into the episode. But then they immediately contrast that with Travis never shoots Blake or the other people in his crew.
Blake never shoots Travis.
There was no reason for him to do any of that. And he said don't touch those coordinates, meaning he already knows basically where the dials are on the thing, so he should have just shot them all and done it himself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can repeat something I said, I think, back in the first season when it came to those standoffs with Travis and Blake. It might have been second season, I can't remember, but they're pretty much at Bebop and Rocksteady level when it comes to the incompetence of them in those situations. You know, this show has given us several characters that need to spin off and have their own show instead of this show. You know, that they would just break off and, you know, we need to have the adventures of Provine and Sarah and some other characters we've been introduced to that are better than the main people.
You see, any defense I give would involve spoilers, so I give no defense.
All right.
Which means up until spoilers, they're trash.
See, you were saying you did like two consecutive Homicide episodes. You said you didn't like the music in them. Like, I would have taken, you know, the music from those two and put them in this episode, and at least there would have been something worth listening to. You know, because they could have put some, you know, at least put a little beat in, like this, you know, the 5-minute ship landing scene could have at least had a beat going, you know, get some rock going in there or something, you know, get some rhythm.
Was the episode before this that was actually good?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
So I'm saying every time
that was the one with Provine.
They have a good episode, they have to immediately follow up with some trash.
Yeah. The good news
The
is
next one's by Robert Holmes, and is one of the best ones.
The last time that there was a really horrible episode, the next one was better. So.
Well, better.
Yeah,
it wasn't much to get better than that.
Better, yeah.
The next one's by Robert Holmes.
Yeah, you said that.
Right, so, you two sensing types, how come I didn't hear on the commentary, hey, he's got a glass eye, I wonder who's got a glass eye?
Because we didn't care.
A glass eye? Yeah, I noticed that, and I thought, like, why the hell does he have a stupid thing on his face?
Well, maybe because it's Travis underneath, he's got an eye patch under there.
Yeah, you see, that's where you go from thinking that sensors are somehow using their sensing for intuitive reasons. See, I didn't go, okay, that guy's got a stupid glass eye, so he must be Travis. That's not where I went with that. I went, he has a stupid glass eye.
Yeah,
Observation.
yeah, it could have been George Cranley.
But you see, in previous,
that it's Travis.
Yeah,
I
but in
didn't care about
previous-
the mummy dude from the beginning.
Right.
I didn't care who he was
Right.
when he Travis.
If he
Right.
just stabbed everybody, then he would have been interesting.
He would have.
I mean-
if he just when he first like did it before he took off the thing, right? I'm thinking, hey, this character's all right. He stabbed somebody, maybe he's gonna shoot some people, and then I'm like, scrubbish
Yeah,
Travis.
the Batman movie with Michael Keaton, a very overrated movie that's not very good. But the one good thing in it is Jack Nicholson's performance as the Joker, and the best scene in the whole movie. Sorry to spoil anyone if there's anyone watching that hasn't seen that movie from 26 years ago, however long ago. But the best is when he tells his assistant henchman guy, whatever, he says gun, and he holds out his hand. The guy gives him the gun, and he immediately shoots him. That's what the Mummy should have done when he had that briefcase or whatever, and he's hands in the briefcase. You just opened it, taken out a gun, and just shot him right there. That would have been awesome.
right, so another test
He
of
didn't need
your...
him at that point anyway. It didn't make any sense. He could have he just offed him and then, saved himself the trouble. It was that's the thing when you have the deal where you have a character that's, they're in disguise, and you have this big reveal and stuff. Then you go back and you watch it with the knowledge of what's going on, and then you're like, okay, what are the things that he needed to do in order for this? And you're like, none of it. 80% of it he didn't need to do. It was all just to keep suspense of, who's the mummy? Instead of just doing of course, again, they've established Travis doesn't make any sense either, so it's consistent with his character to do a bunch of stuff for no reason, and then still not take his opportunity to kill Blake. I'm sure the Pax of Power thing will have some hilarious thing to say about her flower or whatever that is that she's fumbling all the time.
The threat of people aiming guns at the main characters is not a threat at all. It has become long time ago very obvious that they're never going to shoot any of... They used to shoot them, and then Blake just kind of rubbed his shoulder a bit and he was fine. But
at least
they fired
it was aiming actual guns and not aiming a thing that marks them to possibly be killed.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I was like, come on, what is that crap?
Just wait till you get 4 miles away, then I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, what? It's the most convoluted BS way to... Because, there's no way... That's only meant to have intuitive, weird chess mental games with people. There's no actual reason to use that weapon.
I love that weapon.
It's trash. Of course you love it.
It's a fantastic way of controlling people.
Control... Okay, look, you put a gun to someone's head and you say,
maybe you really are an INTJ.
Put a gun to someone's head and you say... go do that. It's not a big deal. It's not. They're probably gonna do it unless they think you're not gonna shoot them. But I mean,
they're marked you now.
Yeah, but then as soon as the person's away, there's.
Here in front of you.
But you see, once the person's away, you can't kill them.
The fact that you have to get this ridiculous, oversized gun, mark someone for a couple seconds, and then go down and hit a button to kill them means that practical applications are limited in terms of, say, actual warfare, in which you don't have...
Well, you just carry 2 guns.
Hey, you! Hey, dude! I marked you! You can try to run, but I'll press this button and kill you!
Carry 2 guns.
And then, while you're yelling your threats at him, he shoots you in the face.
Yeah, you could have 2 guns.
To continue that... the joke that Maximum Power did about that episode, which of course isn't even the one we were talking about, but really what should have happened is Leela teleported in behind him and threw a knife and hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah. Oh.
There's just so many characters in this thing that just really needed somebody to just appear and just kill them, really quickly.
Things like the character really hiding his left arm all the while.
It's a Cyberman.
Yeah, that was all trash. There's no reason for that at all. There's no reason for this entire episode.
Well, actually, the maximum.
But he can't spoil it.
Because again, when you go back to it at the very end, and literally in Blake's mind, nothing changed. Like, there's nothing different at all. Like, there's no reason.
So, on the audio thing, when they referred to somebody controlling Blake's mind, was this the thing they were referring to?
Yeah. Shivan, yeah.
Okay.
Should have said it's Travis. I'm glad they didn't say Travis. But that wouldn't have spoilt your enjoyment of this episode, since...
Oh yeah, it totally would have.
I thought this section was well directed.
I have to give props to Mr. Roberts for the acting.
Thomas.
Did you say this was well done? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Gav Thomas.
Again,
sorry,
good acting.
Thomas. I said Robert.
Trashy writing.
Yeah.
That I didn't think it was well done. I'm like, man, what ancient thing did they get that screen from? I was like,
I mean, it's made in 1979.
I know, but I'm like,
That's
why?
the point.
Why highlight the fact
exactly.
that technology is
Why
crappy?
would be like, hey, look at all this trash we can do?
Hey, look on how this video screen on film sounds worse and looks terrible from afar.
Look
Let's
better
get some
than
lips and eye close-ups, and
The
that'll.
entire video, like, if all it is to show that character is an insane egomaniac who's just a creep. Like, then it's still you, because again, we already knew that, and that would be the entire reasoning for this entire episode, because nothing else in the episode, like, has anything to do with any person's character. Avon is completely out of character, and they again use Jenna as just chick A, and they...
Wait, that's not true. We learned that Orak is a therapist. That's what we learned from this episode.
I mentioned that. Like, why is Orak doing any of this?
Yeah, Orak was like, no, you can do it. Like, yo, totally,
Orak became like an integral part of their system, apparently, when I wasn't looking. When they were talking about how nobody gets on the ship without being cleared by Orak first. Like, wait, why is Orak helping you at all? Like, the whole point was he was kind of just using you guys temporarily in order to just do his own thing. There's no reason for him to be helping them.
So that George Spenton Foster, is that guy, does he direct more episodes, or was this his only one?
Oh, he's done a lot more.
Okay.
Well, why didn't you like the scenes at the cinema?
I just didn't remember seeing the name before, so... What was that?
Why didn't you like the scene? Why didn't you like the direction at the cinema? The idea of her being on this big screen.
Because it was like lousy looking.
But not on DVD.
Somehow, so it's like remastered into like better looking than it appears on the thing you have a shot of right now. And then why did we need eye and lip close-ups? What the hell is that about?
Well, yeah, she is a megalomaniac. But you...
I mean, it sort of made sense from the close-up on her face, because you saw she starts crying, because that was something you wanted to show, I guess. I don't really know why, but,
Yeah, that didn't make any sense either. I mean, she was depressed about her entire life.
Job, and being able to cry on cue. I mean, that was good, I guess, but... I mean, yeah, the only satisfaction from that scene is just the fact that they kill them all.
Yeah, that is the best part of the episode, and it's still kind of weak.
Right. Here we've got...
This was one that needed, and not a fake slap, but it needed Avon to just backhand Villa across the face. Just knock him across the control room.
More than Villa. He needed to backhand a few people.
Well, yeah, he needed to restrain Blake again, and then...
Well, I was telling him to I was telling Jenna to backhand Blake.
Villa. Neither one of you touched the controls ever. That's why he needed to reprogram Zen to be like, accept no more commands from Blake or Villa. They're stripped of all powers.
Right. So, I'll go to the maximum power book in a moment. So, do you think there's a little bit of a difference between this miniature and then this miniature?
Not at all. It's exactly the same.
It
Are you
does
sure?
appear to be a little of difference, yeah.
Yeah, I was messing with you, man.
So,
One looks good.
and I wouldn't.
Chandelier.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I got a chandelier.
Or just
The only thing I think is when they made this, they didn't use motion control. They moved the actual miniature, and I'm thinking that this one, really detailed, is probably this one here, which is massive, and it's probably too big to fly across the camera, and so they use that rubbish smaller one
Rubbish.
for moving.
Rubbish. Don't
Yeah,
do
this
rubbish.
lower quality one, little one I have.
Yeah.
One that looks like
This
that
was
one.
another episode where if this was the first time I had seen the show, I would never watch the show again.
yeah.
Ooh.
Thankfully, it's not the first time I've seen it, so it's been established that they can do good episodes. So I can look forward to.
The one by Robert Holmes.
Well, as I recall, the last one you said he wrote, I didn't think was that great, but now I can't remember which one that was. Oh, it was the one about the disease.
Killer.
Right?
Yeah, but the next one's better than.
I mean, yeah,
Killer.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just it dragged quite a bit towards the end.
Well, the next one's very much character based. It has got quite a bit of complex plotting in as well, though, where Robert Holmes is showing off his intelligence.
I thought you were going to say the whole thing is Jenna on a treadmill. I was like, that would be an improvement.
It's Villa and Avon based. The next one.
That sounds like.
Is it Avon slapping him in the face repeatedly? Because I've watched that.
And it also has to do with the search for Star One because they're trying to find the surgeon Dockley.
At this point, like I think I would have preferred 45 minutes of him just smacking.
Well, as you know, this book is very much of the same mind as you two when it comes to the quality of this story. So then, Jeff, do any of those things pop out at you?
I'm trying to look at it close enough I can read it.
Okay. I like the Neil Tornay thing. Should I say who that is in case Morgan's not seen those particular episodes of Doctor Who?
No. Not that I don't know if he ever will, but no.
Okay, I won't mention
Sometime
that.
in the future he might.
Yep.
You may remember this episode as the one with the bandaged man with the glass eye stuck onto the bandages. That's how we like to remember it. Wait, you're going too fast.
Yeah, sorry.
The one with the glass eye stuck onto the bandages. What are they all doing at the start of this episode, especially Blake? We don't recommend trying these exercises at home. Okay, you gotta tell me the Britishisms on this one. What does a bit narky mean?
Narky. Annoyed.
Okay.
I suppose ornery is an American version of it.
Mm. Well, yeah, he's like being mind controlled.
Cantankerous. Obstreperous.
The Liberator spends the first half of this episode rotating very slowly back and forth. Blake's not ill, he's just dizzy.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I was like, that's Zen. If he had a face, would have like rolled his eyes when the third time he's told to abort one path and give it to the other one. Confirmed.
Right, I'll show you what a jammy dodger is.
I think you showed me before a long time ago.
It's, if you imagine a biscuit, and then imagine that this bit is red jam, and then there's sort of like two halves of the biscuits are stuck together.
It's not like those cookies that have like the fruit in the middle or whatever.
Right, then I'll go back to the
That's
maximum
a terrible name,
power.
though. Jammy Dodger. It just sounds.
It's a great name.
Terrible. Sounds terrible. Like, no, thank you. I don't know you well enough to take your Jammy Dodger. Thank you.
Alright, here we go, and now it gets more comedic, I think.
Blake drinks some clear. I still don't understand why they put it in all caps every time, but. What is the accent that Croucher's doing? You know who it reminded me of was Salamander from Enemy of the World and Doctor Who. That's what he sounded like he was doing an imitation of.
I've not seen that yet.
Hey. You never did?
No, I've got a DVD, but I've not seen it yet. I'm terrible.
Man. Well, if you want to know what Salamander's accent is, imagine that except actually convincing.
Yeah, like better.
Yeah. Well, a much better
this
actor.
was like a bad impression of it. Yeah, exactly. Like Patrick Troughton makes that weird accent sound good. He's not wearing bandages at the time though, so that's probably it. It's tough to act under that. So I got to give him a little leeway on that.
So that bit there about various bits and bobs and Doctor Who's, your superior sensing skills, is that right?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I saw that one, so. Why did you write Ask Jeff?
To ask you about that.
Oh, okay. I like that. You could just keep that line for a lot of stuff. Nobody talks like that, Blake. Not ever. What? Come on. What? And herald at last the epoch of true freedom. Kelvin LeGrand seems to have colored her face in with crayons. Yeah, there. I was just like, man, like, how many hours did it take to layer that much makeup on? Yeah, I also noticed her saying, I see, I wasn't sure if I was just thinking the name, because some of these names we've already discussed, they pronounce them, they don't pronounce them how they're spelled. So I was like, did she say it right? Is it actually Sevelan, or is it Servalan? Like, everybody says it differently. That's why I just call her Supreme Commander, because,
Right.
that way there's no confusion. Yeah, and Crazy Chica, that's fine too, but short-haired weirdo chick. Travis is so stupid, he's even put his fake eye over his good eye. How can he see anything? It isn't really very good at all, is it? That just sums it up. Closing shot, a caption from the BBC's Director General at the time, Ian Trethewon, apologizing unreservedly. Yeah, like, they're right at Avon's thing, just try trusting me, that's weak, even by his standard. But then he does it.
Immediately afterwards.
Quake, mob, wubba.
I got that, man. That's what we can take from this episode, is that set. You know how you and your younger brother like to repeat sayings?
Yeah.
Do one. You could do that for your younger one. What's he called? What's your younger brother called? It's called Kenneth.
Yeah, I won't be doing that, no.
He'd immediately.
You might think you've strained something if you do that.
When he pulled off the bandage, he should have been like, yes, it is I, Travis. He's just gone full on, what's-his-face from Horns and Nymon. If you're going to be in a stupid thing, just ham it up completely. The guy with the knife in his back should have struggled to survive for 2 more minutes, having more death scenes. They're like, no, I must avenge the great governor of crap. Her makeup must be avenged.
Yeah, that was awful when I had a close-up of her talking to, like, Blake and whatever. I was like, oh, man, that just stop. Like, her eyes were all, like, wide, and I was like, you're stretching your makeup, lady. Like, calm it down.
I just have to believe, I just have to, in my mind, think they cut for time the final scene where the two of them just grab Blake and restrain him, and Avon slaps him around and then turn and just punches out Villa. They just leave him on the floor. And then throw
all
back
the
their
way
heads and
through,
laugh, then
Avon
do
was
the-
skeptical.
What's that?
All the way through, Avon was skeptical.
Yeah, but he still did it anyway. Times would have been the point for him to be like, no, we're not doing this. Restrain that dude like we had him before.
But it was like he knew there's this outside device that's controlling Blake. He wants to try and stop that outside device.
Yeah, and the point where he took the ORAC control thing, that's the point where you just, you dig your fingernails into him and you take it back from him. Like, no, you're not going to take that.
Well, maybe Avon thinks that maybe Avon thinks that Blake could batter him. He's tougher than he is.
I doubt. Okay, this is Avon you're talking about. He would never think
Yeah.
that. I've seen him knee some people a few times, so he probably thinks he's much better.
Yeah, there's
than
plenty of places on that outfit to grab and throw him to the ground or pull him away.
Yeah, he's got the perfect judo gi on. You can throw that guy anywhere.
I mean, just because he's heavier than him doesn't mean he's actually stronger than him.
Right. Oh yeah, you were talking about this chick stretching her makeup.
Yeah.
I mean, by 1980s, I mean the makeup got a lot heavier towards the end of the, towards the middle. Wait a minute, I mean, not even in the 1980s with this one. But when it gets into the 80s, there's much heavier makeup. It's just that she's of a certain age, shall we say.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to do that, that's fine as long as the hair also gets a lot bigger, because that's what I want to see when we get to the 80s. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's
obviously,
part of the 80s.
she's overacting here. I mean, she was much better. She was much better on film here. There, she's like. Oh well.
It's
Should have told me.
sad that I'm worthless like everyone else in the Federation.
But I would have.
Possibly Kevin Stoney, though he hasn't really done anything yet.
You see, usually Morgan's very sharp and he picks up on these things, and I think he would have said something like, "Oh, he's got a glass eye. Oh, we never see his left arm. Surely that's Travis."
Like I said earlier, you have to care to mention things.
Yeah, that really was where it was at. Because I noticed immediately his stupid little glass eye over his thing, and I just thought it was dumb, but the entire rest of it was dumb, so it didn't really stand out.
Yeah, so, when you defeat it before you start, because it's like, okay, it's not, oh no, it's Travis. It's like, all right, whatever.
Exactly. Okay.
Makes about as much sense as anything else.
But at least from what I heard, it wasn't like with Shadow where Morgan was going, "Oh, this is trash. This is terrible." There wasn't that. There was like one scene that I heard where he said, "Oh, that scene was boring," where Servalan was talking to the...
At least there wasn't any stupid dream sequences. They didn't actually... They talked about Blake having nightmares, but they didn't actually show him. They just had him yell stuff.
And that was one of the better
renowned...
parts. That was one of the better parts, just because that...
If you're doing a nightmare, you got to build a set.
Trash plots and writing and scripts and...
What was that, Ben?
Terrible.
You have to film, you have to record it if you're having a nightmare. You got to make it, so it costs money to do a nightmare.
Well, right. So I'm saying that was a good thing that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because it would have been horrible.
Right. So
I'm confident that it would have been terrible.
How many out of 10?
Oh man. try to come up with before.
Okay, is it higher than Shadow and Weapon?
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I gave Shadow a 3, I gave Weapon a 1. So I'm thinking, is this a 2? Was it in between the two? No, I mean, but on the other hand, they spared us stupid dream sequences. Yeah, I got to give it the 3. I got to give it a 3.
Well, at the very least, you're going to watch the next episode, and it's not so bad that you're going, right, that's it, no more.
Like I said, if there was like, I mean, if down to the point there was like a long series of Weapon, every episode, I couldn't take it anymore. I would just have to be like, sorry, Ben, I know I said I'd watch all the episodes, but this is too much. But the fact is that they've had some good ones. So I have that hope that, there'll be stuff. So even when there's an awful episode, I can be like, all right, well, this one's a dud, but maybe the next one will be good. So. Yeah, I mean, this came at a good time, probably following, the one that was probably my favorite so far.
So, was it bad because of what it was, or because what it wasn't? So, what I mean by that is not action, not relationships.
Yeah, I mean, probably more the fact that it was just mostly boring, and so it's just it was not a thing ever made kind of feeling. It was just if I wasn't doing a review of this, I would have changed the channel a long time ago. It's more like okay, next, all right, this one's not good, next episode. I would just skip to the next episode to see if this one's any better,
So it's a way of saying
waiting for something to entertain me,
right? So it would be different from say if it was something that was your cup of tea, but a badly done cup of tea. So, for instance, if it was one with lots of action and relationships in, but those two things were done really badly, so that's bad on its own terms.
Yeah, that's still more entertaining. Like, for instance, in the last episode, we started with explosions and fighting, whatever, and that can get boring if that's all you have. 45 minutes still would have been more entertaining than this, because it would be less boring than something that tries to create drama but never really has any. And like the only parts that aren't boring are just goofy or dumb.
Right,
like I said, the only thing not real positive I can take out of this is Gareth Thomas. I'm on his name right this time.
Yeah.
He demonstrated in this episode again. I mean, not that he'd been bad before, but he showed a little bit more of his acting range, because he took the character a little bit further than he had before. So that was a good thing about this episode. But that's really the only real positive from it.
But so for instance, I'm trying to get to the point of, like, you've probably watched Doctor Who episodes where some of them you've gone, even for people that like this kind of thing, this is bad. Like, and then you've said for other ones, well, I don't like this particular thing, but I can see how, like, say, INTJs might like this, or the sort of people might like something that's not your cup of tea, but how it's good of a certain subgenre.
To a point, yeah. I mean, there's things that I like. The other day when we were talking about when they did the stuff with werewolves, like I that kind of thing is so easy to get really stupid with really fast. It's hard to do a story that's actually compelling that's about werewolves, because it's kind of a dumb concept. But it is possible to do, but it's hard to do.
I'm just a werewolf.
Yeah, I am. But I'm using that as an example because there are people that are like into werewolves, like that's their thing. And so if that's your thing, then you're probably going to be more lenient with a werewolf story, because you're like, oh, cool, werewolves, because this is my thing. And then, and I don't know, maybe it depends. I mean, some people may be even more picky because they're werewolf fans. So like, no, that's not what werewolves really do, So I don't know, because to me, it's like, okay, you're going to have to show me something here. And if you don't, then it's going to be garbage. And it usually is. But Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when they had the dude on there that was the werewolf, like, that was actually not bad, because they didn't make that really the entire focus of the story. he was never. I mean, they had maybe one episode where they really kind of focused on that, and then other after that, it was just sort of like this subplot to other things. Too bad. But yeah, I mean, to Doctor Who stuff, I mean, yeah, there's some where I'm like, it's not my thing, but I could understand. Some of the historical ones, because even though in general I like the historical ones, not some of the particular time periods or the particular way they did them, I wasn't into. Like at the Mythmakers was kind of weird. Now I liked the ending.
Apparently that was a satire, Mythmakers.
That was the thing, is that when I did my review of that, I'm like, I couldn't make up their mind exactly what they were doing with that. And so it sort of comes off.
So you don't know
Satire, but on the other hand, in the final episode, then they get all serious, which I actually liked better because it seemed to fit better with the tone of the show. Like they had done sort of a comedy historical before when they did the Romans, but that one was so much better done, in my opinion. Like,
that was good.
It seemed to really it fit the style, the tone of Doctor Who better because they could still do some drama and they could do some serious moments, but they could have the comedic stuff, and it seemed to kind of flow in the story, and it still worked. Whereas the Mythmakers got a bit weird. There were too many like monologues of characters that
Did you like listen to the Mythmakers? Is it available in episodes? I don't know.
I don't think there's any complete episodes on that one, if I remember right. Yeah. So there's reconstructions and there's audio. There's narrated audio.
I'll tell you what was bad, and you probably agree with this, is when Robert Holmes wrote The Space Pirates.
Yeah, okay, The Space Pirates is another good example of one that is boring more than anything else. Like, to me, it's better to have something that is entertaining but kind of dumb. I'm trying to think of a good example, because there are some examples from Doctor Who that would fit that category. The Sunmakers, there's a good example. That one is kind of goofy, and there's some parts that are kind of cringeworthy, where you're like, okay, that's a little much, but at least it's entertaining. Like they have the the weird president character or whatever he was supposed to be that's in the chair, and he's all like, he's kind of like the Wizard of Oz kind of thing or whatever he's supposed to be. I mean, they had and the collector guy that so at least it was like, if nothing else, that stuff was entertaining, even if it was kind of dumb. It made it so the story was still entertaining, as opposed to Space Pirates, where it's just so much boredom, like or even The Wheel in Space, which overall as a story wasn't terrible, but it had way too much of it starts out with like 20 minutes of in space, like ships docking and stuff. I'm like, this is get to the point. Have something actually happen, please.
Right. So you would rather have something badly done but was up your alley, was your subgenre, for lack of a better term, than something that wasn't your subgenre, was something that a genre that you do not like, where you think, well, this is really boring to me, but I can see just about how certain people would like this sort of thing, but to me it's driving me up the wall.
Yeah, I guess because like, for instance, there are very few shows about there are very few courtroom dramas that are realistic, because in real life most courtroom proceedings are very boring. So if there was a show that had very realistic courtroom scenes, I could be like, okay, this is boring to me because courtrooms are boring, but I'm still applaud them for doing a good job of making a realistic court. Like, I would rather see that done, even though I find it boring, than I would see a stupid thing where they've got the thing that they stick in soap operas all the time, where there's always somebody jumping up and yelling, "That's not true!" and making a scene in the courtroom, which happens maybe in like 0.2% of all trials in history. There's all this dramatic yelling and that somebody doesn't immediately get restrained or kicked out of the court by the judge, which on soap operas it takes about 12 outbursts for them to finally, don't do that again, or I'm gonna kick you out of my courtroom. Yeah, no real judge would stand for multiple outbursts from the same person in the court.
I think at one point you mentioned during the review that something like overly complex, convoluted. So can you see how someone like that? So can you see how someone like me or maybe an NT type would like that kind of plot?
Yeah, I guess.
Right. So it wasn't bad on its own terms, whereas, say, I think Morgan has seen a story such as Hostage, where it's arguable that that is bad on its own terms, like a story that has loads of plot holes and stuff, rather than not being something that's not your cup of tea, but something that's actually.
The one with the girl and the mountain and tower.
Yeah, the girl, yeah, Inga. Or Inga.
Yeah, that episode was bad too.
Yeah, that was probably boring. It's that boring and cliched on its
That one was still
terms.
better than this one, I think, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because that was your cup of tea, because it was more action-based.
Again, it's like the same thing you were saying before. Even though it was the stupid grunts from Power Rangers just getting knocked down by styrofoam props, it's still better than just a bunch of convoluted BS. Like,
Right.
I don't know, is it supposed to be catering to NTs? Because did you enjoy this episode, Ben?
Yes, I did.
Well, what did you like about it, Ben?
What did I like about it? I liked all the stuff, especially all the stuff with Blake and the psychological stuff and what's going on with the transmitter, with the telepathic, him being.
Okay, so think about it for a second. Why did they need the transmitter?
Because they established that when Blake was being brainwashed, that
I don't
they
need
knew
that
that
to explain to me. Why did the people need the transmitter?
to get Blake there to go to the asteroid.
All right, and then why were they controlling his mind again if they were supposed to be on his side?
Well, it was. That was a good point. That is a plot hole.
The transmitter part was.
After he arrived there, they should have switched it off.
Unnecessary.
Yes, correct.
The transmitter part was forced, like, contact on and completely unnecessary. Like, if you think about it, the transmitter didn't really matter except at key points where they just needed something to happen. They were like, the transmitter, weird sound. Like, it didn't really matter at all. And the first thing where Callie just, like, casually thinks of, oh yeah, this random thing that happened on my planet a while back, that's probably what's happening right now. What? Like, why did you randomly think of that?
Oh, that's an intuitive thing. That's not
Exactly.
necessarily a plot hole.
But it was written to cater to that intuitive need, thinking that, and of course, this of course makes the misconception that intuitives are usually right.
I would think that even if NTs watching this were not bored by it, they would still be offended by the stupidity.
Yeah, it seems like you kind of glaze over the fact that
people
it's
that
just
really
what?
seem very low in brain power are able to be as effective as they are. I would think some NTs would be driven crazy by that.
Yeah, but
So
I sort of accept it for what it is, though. I mean, I know it's not real.
Well, true, but I would think that there would be plenty of NTs who would say, why do I need another example of how stupid people can be? I already know this. Why do I need that? Why do I need to be told that the future people are going to be just as stupid?
Well, but you've got the NTs are going to be connecting with Avon, who is going on all the world about everyone being stupid.
I mean, I was let down by him, and I'm not even an NT.
I was let down by him because the only things that they're trying to put into Avon character by having him randomly insult people, and it was completely ill-timed. Like, thanks, Squirrely, for finally getting out of here. You're trash. Like, if he had actually just walked out and been like, you're useless, like, that would have made sense. But he instead was just like, shut up. Like, okay, who cares? He just saved you after screwing you guys over, and he had no actual intellectual thing to say about that. Nothing.
Yeah, at least in Futurama with Bender, they can have him, say, kill all humans, and if they'd made Avon an android, then maybe that's what's missing from him, since he's actually human, is he can't be like Data or Spock and be like, these illogical humans, because he is a human, so he just has to be like, I'm just better than they are. But in this episode, he wasn't much better because
He wasn't.
All the
knew
while
what
he's
not
pointing
to do,
out.
but he did it anyway.
He still did it.
He points out all the problems. All he does is just doesn't go badass as much as Morgan would do.
But whoa,
But,
whoa, whoa,
but
whoa,
that's
whoa.
to say he didn't even need to.
Yeah, see, I would be a badass. This is facts. But Avon mentioned, like, a couple times, maybe, not even, that it was stupid. That what they were doing was stupid, or what Blake was doing was stupid. But then he goes along with everything he does. He goes out of his way to save him, and then goes along with the next plan, which is also stupid.
Yeah, when they had Blake restrained, why did they move him to the bridge? Like, why didn't they leave him in the so-called restroom, where they already had him restrained? Why did they leave him alone with Villa? That's the thing. I'm like, they set that up so that Villa's the only one standing between Blake and getting away. That's what I think Avon, if he's so smart, wouldn't have let happen.
Yeah, he's there questioning all these people coming onto the ship and all these plans and whatever. But he allows Villa to be, again, he questions things, then he just sits there and lets it all happen, and then he takes part in a couple of the things. And he doesn't even mention the fact that he went along with a completely stupid plan, like he does when he, like in previous episodes when he goes along with stupid plans, he mentions the entire time how stupid it is. But this time he didn't even do that. He kind of went in the beginning like, Blake's a crazy dude. This is stupid. He shouldn't be, we shouldn't be following this guy who's unstable. And yet, then he figures out completely that he's being controlled, yet he still goes along with everything.
Well, maybe they could have pointed out that Avon's not been sleeping well and a little bit sleep deprived.
I figure if he hasn't been sleeping well, he would be less likely to be cooperative with all this BS, and he would just be like, no, screw all of you. That's stupid. That's all stupid. Yeah, that makes no sense.
If he had less sleep, then he should have been more likely to take the thing back from Blake, because his inferior things will be activated. He's more aware of the physical world, and so he's
Right. So now we're going back to the dynamics of.
I'm going back to the Avon backhand.
The dynamics of how Avon needs the people on the ship, especially he needs Jenna to fly the flipping ship.
Yeah, but in this case, I don't think Jenna would have objected that much.
Yeah.
Like she would have easily been on Avon's side if he just took control and been like,
yeah,
nah.
I looked to Avon to be like, come on, do something, dude. And he let me down.
But INTJs with their bad people skills are not good at leading people.
Right. Okay, even if you go by that, then he would be less likely to just, like, allow his idea of what should be occurring to just be screwed over by everyone's stupidity.
He would have taken the escape ship a long time ago, really.
Yeah,
but,
at the very least, he would have just gotten out of there. Like, nah,
that's what I think,
peace, bro.
Where else would he have gone?
But at least, when we discussed earlier, like, whether or not he was an INTJ or an ENTJ, we've now firmly established he's definitely an INTJ, because an ENTJ would have taken over and just, I'm not crap anymore.
Oh, yeah. So there's this guy called Peter Bartle.
I'd be like, even if I get shot, I'd rather do that than stand for this garbage.
I mean, Jack Aaron looks like Morgan's younger brother, I suppose. He looks like 14, does Jack Aaron.
Okay.
Right. So we interviewed Peter Bartle, and he's going, ENTJ? No way is he ENTJ. INTJ.
Who?
No in charge at all. Hardly any facial expression. Right.
This guy, Peter or something?
Peter Bartle is a socionist. A German socionist.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I want to be a socionist, too.
Yeah, but the thing is with Avon, where would Avon go?
I don't know.
Well, he could have
Pleasure
planned
Planet.
any of this.
Go back there. What was that place called?
He's like,
I think all the planets are Federation controlled.
Yeah, but wasn't there some place they talked about that they talked about like some planet that was hostile to the Federation too?
I think it was like
there. Or you know that one where he was gonna join up with that other guy on that one space station.
Yeah, the XK-41, but then they actually found out that it was colluding with the Federation.
Yeah. Maybe.
Federation's all powerful.
Whatever.
But there's
You aren't trying to take on the federal government.
Well, why not? Why not? They're all trash.
It's realistic. I mean, we've proven this year in America that anyone can be a nominee of one of the major parties for president. You don't actually have to have any qualifications.
Being a billionaire.
Well, that's not a qualification. That's just a circumstance.
He's displayed both the negatives and positives of an ESTP with the tactical intelligence.
He didn't win because he's a billionaire, though. He could have been. I mean, yes, he had to be a celebrity, but he could have been a celebrity with a lot less money and had the exact same thing happen.
Oh yeah, he's hardly spent any money. He might not have spent.
He did not go Ross Perot on the. You know, he's not buying 30-minute TV time, network stuff. He hadn't spent anywhere near as much money as Perot did, at least percentage-wise. I mean, in real money, it might be more because that was 20-something years ago. But I mean, in terms of the percentage-wise, I mean, Perot spent a lot more money.
Oh yes.
Speaking of which, what's he doing this year? Because we need him back. Maybe Perot could win this year. we need somebody. Anyway, that's enough of that, I guess.
Talk about key points in history. Ross Perot halting his campaign, and then going, why did he halt his campaign?
I know, when he was leading in the polls, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, that was bizarre. Oh, well,
key points in history. Yep, I think we're pretty much done. Apart from, please see video for notes. No. Please see video, notes, or links. And then no need to endorse that because we've already seen that. But Morgan, you might like Prax Girl. She's got a good TI. Well, in fact, Prax Girl. I think she's written for by a bunch of NTs, I think. Prax Girl. She talks about praxeology. Loads of TI. Libertarian stuff. Very good. Right. So, it's bye from me. What do you want?
I don't get.
I'll show you Prax Girl.
Hopefully more exciting episode of Blake 7.
Gambit. It's a little bit crazy comedy-wise. You're like in terms of the costumes.
All right, we'll see.
Bye-bye.
Bye.